Welcome, everybody. We'll let people filter in as they would like to. I just wanted to say thank you all for joining today. I'm really excited for today's call because it's the first call of the new year. And what I'd love to spend some time doing is a little bit different than our normal celebrations, where we kind of like think about like the recent past, the recent history, and do some celebrations from maybe the last time you sat down with us. What I would like to do instead is give you guys a little bit of time to reflect. And I would love for you to think about where you were before you decided to join this course. Like, what were you wanting? What were you looking for? What was your dream? And then what was that turning point? What made you go, oh, yeah, I really know I want to do this. This is my calling. This is what I want to commit my time and my energy to. Can you recall that moment? And then from that place, what are some celebrations that have happened since then? So we're going to give a little more time to reflect on that, since you probably haven't thought about it in a while. Like what made you come and join this group? What made you go through the process of training, and then what's happened on the other side of it for you? Does that sound good, everybody? Where were you? What made you decide like, heck yeah, I'm joining, I'm doing this? And celebrations that have happened since then. Big, small, in your own personal life, working with clients or doing workshops or whatever it is that you're like doing out in the world, but also maybe some of those things from like who you're being, like how things have shifted for you working with this plant differently than maybe you were before. Things that have opened up or shifted for you there. Anything that comes to top of mind. All right. Who wants to share?
I'll come
Lindsay.
on.
Lindsay?
Hi, Lindsay.
Hello. I had actually just gotten laid off from my job, and I had been looking at CCI for, I don't know, probably a year prior to that, but hadn't made the choice to jump into it. And so when I got laid off, it kind of felt like the perfect opportunity to start something new. My mom had been using cannabis to help with her pain relief and had gotten off of opioids. And so that's kind of what really sparked my initial interest and curiosity. And then I began to use cannabis for my like mood swings and depression. But I didn't really understand it fully. And so, I knew that I wanted to help people understand the plant and how to trust themselves, not necessarily like tell people exactly what to do. And it just seemed that the Cannabis Institute, it just felt aligned with what I was looking for. I just knew that I really wanted to focus my time and energy on that. Okay, I was 20 February 2023 cohorts. So since graduation, I've gained a lot more confidence. I definitely was not as confident when I first started with CCI, and I started working at a dispensary, and I still work there. I love it. I am able to help bud tenders. I'm able to help the customers actually get that education that they should be getting. And I've been able to stop the, incorrect education from some of the bud tenders that I've worked with previously. But last year, my mom ended up getting sick, and she needed to be taken care of and be driven to get some infusions daily. And so I had to kind of shift my time and energy and focus. I couldn't take clients because I didn't have the capability. I didn't have the time. I didn't have the energy. And so I started drafting a cannabis coloring book. I actually published it, and it is available on Amazon. It has a bunch of different educational information, as well as some coloring pages, reflection pages, a dose tracker. And so I have a terpene edition out of the coloring book that I use to get people to like enter in their email. And then I have like an immediate upgrade where they can purchase like a digital copy, or it takes them to Amazon if they want to purchase it through there. But that's it. I can't, like I
Oh, that's all.
that's all.
That's all. You guys are so classic at being like, that's all.
That's it.
Oh, you just like I've never seen a cannabis coloring book. I've seen lots of them, but I've never seen one that has so many educational components to it already. I know you just flipped through there, but I saw like there were different things on ingestion methods. You mentioned a dosage tracker. Oh, that's all.
Broad
No big
spectrum,
deal.
full spectrum, isolate. It's definitely an educational, like I made it for beginners. Working at the dispensary, I found that I love working with people that are new and don't really know what to experience. And a lot of people start them on the complete wrong path. And so it's just like, it is exciting to me to work with beginners. And so this was just the perfect opportunity to kind of work with people, but get them slightly educated and then come to me if they want more than that.
It's incredible. It's incredible. I love I love the whole evolution of this for you because like you said, you were like, oh, I know that it helps, but I'm not sure how. And then you make that decision. And then going to the front lines of the dispensary. First of all, I just want to say thank you so much for doing that because obviously you got to see firsthand, some of the issues with bud tenders saying things, spreading more misinformation,
Yeah.
not being able to support patients in that way. And then learning that you really love working with beginners, and that's like really what lights you up, and then being able to make a resource for them based on not just what you know, but what they asked you and like what those conversations were like, and then make it fun, and then work with Renee to like create this process so that you can automate it, right? So that you can be sharing it in a way that's easy and that captures people's attention and also like gets them to be part of your world. In 2 years, a couple years, if I would have had that done by year 2, 3, oh Lordy. Thank you so much, Lindsay. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Oh yeah, Marcia. Yeah. Go ahead.
My wins. I just finished my second journal, so I'm doing wellness journals. Mind, body, wellness journals. I don't know if you can see that.
Look at
The
this.
space between breaths. So I just finished this one. And I did this one like in a week. So my first one, it took me about a couple of months to finish. So I'm very excited about doing number 2 because I plan on doing about 4 different journals. This one, the first one was Unlock the Feminine Power of Cannabis. So it does have the trackers and a lot of information in it. The second one is cannabis guided energy healing, emotional restoration, nervous system reset. So it's a lot of mind body work. So I'm excited about it. And then I started my social media once I, finished the first journal. And that's kind of coming along like a snail. I don't know, Kareen and Andrea, I need some encouragement or some advice about that. And then what happened, the one thing that did push me was because we have in this community, Dr. Umar. You guys probably don't know who Dr. Umar is, but he's just an influencer. And what's been going around in my community is just a lot of negative information about cannabis at this point and how synthetic it is and how uh, we don't really know what we're smoking at this point. And at that time, I was like, I had to stop. This was right after I probably graduated and think like, what am I doing? Should I be doing this? And then I thought about it more and more. And then that was my first social media post. On YouTube, my video, I talked about franken cannabinoids and I just went more in depth about synthetic cannabinoids and everything. So that actually, it got me started. And then I'm thinking, wow, okay, yeah, this feels good. This is where I want to be. This is where I should be. And I've been feeling really great about the mind body wellness aspect of it. So, it's just all coming full circle for me, along with all of the embodiment, somatics, yoga, and other modalities I work with. So I'm enjoying that.
I want to go back to your celebration of Dr. Umar being this dude in cannabis. And you were like, yeah, he might be right. I might have been like, I might have made a bad decision doing this. And then realizing, no, He's fucking not right. And somebody needs to tell him that. And it's going to be me. Okay, it's me. Like, that's
Right.
amazing. And Corinne will tell you something very exciting about social media. I'll let her do it because it's exciting for all of us.
Yeah, it is really exciting for all of us, and we can talk about this a little bit later. I don't want to. I want to keep us on a roll with your guys' celebrations and turning points and tapping into that. But recently, as some of you might know, I started experimenting with social media as people started talking about how it was becoming more acceptable. I started with some ad stuff on Facebook, and then moved into Instagram, and really started taking it seriously in about October. Um, I feel like I really hit my stride in the past few weeks, and in the past week, I gained 30,000 followers. There's like an insane deluge of like, I mean, thousands of comments, thousands of the things, and just doing stuff that you guys know. Like, you know this stuff, right? I'm not talking about anything that's like life changing or brand new or any of that kind of stuff. I figured out a formula that works for me, and I'm happy to share it with all of you. Obviously, the same caveats still apply. They could shut me down at any moment. I'm really riding this wave and to see what happens. But what was the most interesting part to me was the reel that I had that took off was with hundreds and thousands of people who watched it. And again, thousands of people commented, was one where I talked about high THC and what might be happening to our receptors when they're shrinking in. And people call it tolerance, but so some of you might have seen that one. What was most fascinating was how many comments I got from people in DMs about how they want their relationship with this plant to be different. And this whole thing, it got me stumbled onto the statistic last Thursday. I think I stumbled onto it that in the past year, they polled cannabis users, right? People who consume cannabis in the past year, and 83% said they used it for recreational use only, and only 17% said that they used it as a medicine. And I just started thinking, like, what if those switched? Like, right. So I'm like asking these questions just like on social media, and it is wild how activating it is for people in terms of like they knew that there was something more. They knew that they want their relationship with this plant to change. They have so many questions about it. And honestly, like, there are so many people who need your help. So for those of you who are interested in social media, it is another platform that you can connect with people who need your help. And I know you all have different, and this is what I love about this group always, that you all have different specialties, right? Different interests. And like Marcia and Lindsay made interactive books, right? Like workbook, but they're so different to two totally different audiences. Same basic underlying high quality information, right? Like heart-centered, high quality, science-backed information. And the way that you can speak to those this same plant in such different ways is it's so diverse. And so there's so much room on there for all of us. It's, we used to say we wanted to take over Google, and AI did that. They took over the front page of Google. So lost that one. But in this deficit of trust, people are looking for different sources of information, and there's just room to grow, right? Like I was at 6,000 people when I first started this journey, 6,000 followers from years of posting. Oh my God, we have Jabria. Oh my God, let Jabria. And we can talk about social media for a little bit later on. But yeah, anyway, I'm just really thrilled. And again, the thing that makes me more thrilled than anything is seeing how not thrilled, actually, it's horrible, but like how little people still know about this plant, how much room there is still to educate, and how we can support our businesses in doing that, right? Like it's such a win-win. And I'm just excited. I'm excited to share that with all of you. Awesome. Go ahead, PJ.
Hey, it's good to see everybody. Hello. Um, I remember the moment really well when this became like an idea for me being a cannabis coach. It was when I was working with Andrea, and we had this conversation where I was like, my life is changing rapidly right now, and Andrea was like, look, you've learned so much in supporting yourself with cannabis. It's time for you to spread the love and get paid for it, dude. You've already done all the work, basically. Um, and that definitely landed for me. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. If it's been this helpful for me, what's the potential for other folks that have a similar life story or even very different life story? I can potentially be helpful and it could be a win-win. And I remember the dream of that being working with families with autistic kids in the way that my family needed help, when I was a kid. I imagined a tearful, thankful, loving embrace between that kid and his mom, his dad, where he's saying, "Thank you so much for this medicine. It helped me so much." So that grew from that seed. That grew my current practice. I think I'm at the turning point now, actually, for my practice, because I've had some very good results with the families I've worked with over the past year or so, to the point where I'm convinced that there is really something here for the autism community that's really important for them to know about. And I'm going all in. I'm going all in and own it and embody it in the way that feels like it does. It honors the medicine and honors what the medicine has done for me. So my practice is more just titration and dosing, because I also hold a container for the family to work with the emotions that come up when people are going back into their bodies and learning about themselves, and the medicine is teaching them, having a guide. So that's the what, I think. It's the medicine plus the container. And for this specific community that is really in so much need of help. And I see it all the time, because I'm running workshops and support groups for this community as well.
Yeah,
So
that's
excited.
amazing. Yeah. I'm so happy. Just so happy to hear that for you. Like you're like, oh, I envisioned this dream. Oh, now I have it.
It's literally happening. The
Mhm.
the kids that I'm working with these families are, they're becoming more regulated, and the whole family dynamic changes, because the parents are holding space for whatever's coming up for the kid in a non-judgmental way, with guidance, right? The medicine helps with that. And now I have parents recommending me to other groups that they're in with other parents. So I'm giving 2 seminars in the next few weeks, actually, for parent groups, and very specifically the community that I've been working with for the past couple of years.
You're precious to them, like actually precious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that I love that you said there. It's not just the medicine, it's not dosage and titration. We've known that you've been working with family support. And I was just talking to a friend of mine whose daughter's received an autism diagnosis, and was thinking about how much support she needs as this continues to unfold. I just kept thinking, oh my gosh, everyone needs a PJ who is dealing, who's not dealing, but like who is navigating these waters, because it's not just about the kids, like
Mm-hmm.
you need a whole new skill set as well. And I was just really grateful for you in that moment yesterday when it happened. And I was like, man, gotta get him out there. We got to get this information out there to this particular community, that and especially that piece, right? The family piece, the family unit piece. So thank you so much. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see what this turning point means. Congratulations on all the seminars. And of course, you're getting a ton of word of mouth. And if there are bigger ways for you to share this work that you're feeling called to, I hope you do, because you are right. You know how needed it is, because you're in the community every day. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
This has been great. First of all, hello everyone. It's so good to see some familiar faces. I had a moment of I'm late, I don't know if I should hop on, but this space and this container has been so instrumental in my journey that I wanted to pop in. So thank you for having me. Remind me of the question. I know one is how do we get started?
Yeah, like
What do
where were
we
you
do?
at before? What was your before? Right? We're just kind of doing a
Yeah.
longer term celebration. Before, what was the turning point where you're like, okay, I've got to do this. I'm going to join this. I'm going to commit my life to this work, to
Yeah.
pioneering. And then what's happened since?
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. So I come from a higher ed background. I used to work at universities, used cannabis recreationally occasionally, but obviously COVID was kind of the big thing that like many people, it's got me on a daily basis. Also, I think one of the biggest catalysts in my journey, which led me into CCI, was my mom passing in June of 2020, and that cannabis became a big part of my grief process. Um, very much as a coping mechanism or a crutch at the time. But then I remember talking to my then new, still current therapist that I've had for the last 6 years. And she was the first person to ask me, why do you smoke? Like, what does it do for you? How does it help you? How does it support you? And that question really shifted things for me because I started actually paying attention to why the fuck was I like why was I smoking at 420 every day, right? Like it wasn't just for funsies. It was kind of the thing that was keeping me alive, to be honest. And started talking about that more with my therapist and using it more in other like wellness therapeutic practices like yoga, meditation, breath work, journaling, all that stuff. And yoga in particular was the piece that like was the first time I really felt being in my body, and that was as a very neurodivergent person, also Black person who went to all white schools and in a larger body, queer, like all of these identities of difference. I've always been very separated from my body. And so to have a tool that helped me actually ground into it was huge. And then I was like, okay, how the fuck does this work? Like what is cannabis? Like I don't understand how this thing is also helping me sleep and do all this other stuff. And then had a hell of a time trying to learn about it, found out about the endocannabinoid system, found out about edibles, which is how I really got started. Emily Kyle was like one of my go-tos, and Wake and Bake, like I have your book. It was one of the uh, edibles was kind of like the pathway into that, and then being like people need to know more about this, right? Like so many of us consume and have no clue all of the different ways that it can help us, and then learned about the endocannabinoid system. It's like I need to teach people. Tried to find a coaching course, couldn't find one for the life of me at the time, and then literally like on a late night Google search came across the Cannabis Coaching Institute and was like, this is it. Like reading through that landing page was one of those like I feel seen moments, and started the educator program, didn't finish the educator certificate because life was lifing at that time, and then in the middle of that saw that there's a coaching program and I was like, no, that's where I need to be. And it's been very much on and popping since then, because what I loved about the coaching program in particular was that it wasn't just about cannabis. It was a lot of how you actually like live well. Like what does living well look like, and how can cannabis be a tool as a part of that process? And that really just kind of set me down this like it was well timed with a lot of the other kind of internal self discovery, growth, healing work that I was already doing, and being able to use cannabis with the guidance and support of this container at the same time was transformational for my own journey. And then was very much just like, all right, I got to tell the people. And so spent the first like 6 months of my social media journey and my early coaching days not nailing a single client, getting all of my posts taken down. Like it was an uphill battle for the first 6+ months. And then I had one post, I think it was about simply just like asking yourself why before you consume, that just like took off. And people, it was like I had been yelling in that void for so long, and people finally were like, hey, like we're here, like we want to know more. And it's been really cool to see as my own journey with cannabis going from something that I used with no intention to like very regimented, almost like a protocol, so to speak, and then now being in this space of like using it as a tool to actually live well and to ground myself and support myself in all these different ways. As my journey has developed, so is the journey of my community and my content. And I think now where I'm at with my work and what's really motivating me is like, how can we use cannabis as a tool for liberatory practices? How do we use it as a tool for embodiment? How do we use it as a tool of resistance and rebellion? And so that's kind of where my work is weaving into as we move forward. But that's the long of the short and the short of the long all at the same time.
Oh my God. Thank you for sharing that. I feel like I'm fangirling because I'm like, oh, I love your Instagram feed. For those of you who don't follow her, please do it. Yeah, watching you evolve on that platform. And you were one of the rebels because we were like, don't use it. And you're like, I'm gonna go use it. And then it was like
Yeah.
struggle bus. But then we saw you blow. I'm like, wait a second, you can talk about weed on the internet now? It's like you
Very
can talk about
coded,
it on
but yeah.
social media. Very coded, right? And you definitely inspired me to go on there and start sharing. And so I really am grateful for that. I just wanted to say thank you. You know, like really really showed me what's possible, not just in terms of like, oh, we can be on here and talking about things, but also the way that you've built your community and the way that, again, I'm watching people grow with you, right? And in your posts, I'm watching people who have taken this journey with you for now years, you know, right? I mean, it's been years. And your evolution with the plant has been a really cool thing. And I do love that about places like social media where we're practicing being seen and saying this stuff out loud and doing all that stuff um and seeing what an impact it really makes because it's so you know, again, I poo-pooed on these things before because I didn't want to see somebody struggle like you did in the beginning because you went through it. Probably it's a lot easier for me to go through it now because like they're definitely a lot more chill. I'm saying things and I'm like, oh, that one's gonna be, and I was like, oh no, really? What? Okay. Can we say that? Do we have to use the exclamation point? I'm still going to use it. But like, do we have, you know what I mean? Like there's definitely a movement forward where it's getting more nuanced and education about this plan is being less restricted on those platforms. And who knows how it'll go, but I'm celebrating that right now and thank you.
invite you.
Okay. Thank you all so much for being here. We are over on time because we celebrated our butts off. Thank you for sharing your stories about, you know, what made you make the decision to change your life in this way. And thank you so much for being on this journey with us. I really can't appreciate you guys enough. I know sometimes it doesn't feel like this work is changing the world, but it really, really is. And thank you for your commitment to it. And even when it's hard and you feel like, oh no, I'm gonna die of dysentery along the way or whatever pioneer like kind of stuff is happening. Thank you all for being here, and we'll see you at the next grad call and hopefully tomorrow. Bye.